Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. Today is Wednesday, and today is another show from the Noon Report. Okay. So I'm your host, Dr. Ron, and looking forward to my partner in crime, Mr. Lee Michaels, joining me later on in the broadcast, hopefully. Hopefully he'll make it in. We don't know for sure, but hopefully he'll make it in because he's on assignment right now. You know, everybody knows he has a limousine service, and sometimes he gets tied up on assignment. So he's genuinely on assignment. But I'm here and we're going to do what we do on a Wednesday at noon. So, the first thing I want to do, as always, give a shout out to my mentor. Every broadcast I do this. I give a shout out to my mentor, Dr. Hunt. And the reason why I do that, because I want people to understand how important it is to have a mentor in life. You know, we go through situations and circumstances, and we don't always know how to deal with it. But if you have a mentor to help you navigate through these situations, then it makes life a little bit easier. So get you a mentor, somebody can help you navigate some of the things in life that cause problems. So definitely get you a mentor. Okay. Shout out to Dr. Hunt. Now, today, I want to talk about, the hottest topic on all news media today, and that's the presidential State of the Union address on last night. And I watched it. You know, I enjoyed it. It was very interesting. You know, I picked up probably some things that other people did not see. And unfortunately, the president started out with trying to deal with it's a us against them scenario that exists in the government. Now, don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. The Republicans against the Democrats. And then there's actually a third person in that us and them scenario, and that's the people. The Republicans feel like they're the royalty of the United States. And the Democrats feel like, okay, well, we're in power, so we're the persons that you should take your lead from. But then they don't even understand fully the people and the needs of the people. I heard distinctly the president talking about the fact that there is a big hole in society where the middle class used to exist. And the middle class, got squeezed out because the rich, eliminated the middle class. Either you're in the upper echelon of the middle class, of the rich, or the lower echelon of the rich, or you're in the working poor. And I tell people all the time, there is no middle class. The middle class is something of the past. It's gone. The middle class does not exist anymore. And the middle class, it just is so, it's hard to describe because see, I remember visualizing the middle class at one time. The middle class used to buy new cars every year. They used to buy houses in neighborhoods where crime was considered to be low. Now, people are living from paycheck to paycheck. He called them blue collar workers on last night. People that, when the unions were very in power, they made sure that cost of living increases were there. And now you don't have people that can afford to take off for months at a time. As an example, on last couple of years, we had the pandemic, And there were people with $100,000 homes all the way up to $500,000 homes that had to go to food pantries to get food. That's how hard things have gotten. People were giving news reports and testimonies about how they have gone through their savings and now they don't have savings anymore. A lot of companies went out of business. A lot of companies folded up. A lot of people did not prosper or continue to prosper. So some of the things that were going on in those scenarios were very difficult and very hard to believe that, at some point in time we had a middle class. It's just been a long time since we've had one. And I would like to see the middle class at some point in time come back. A lot of jobs went overseas, a lot of jobs went to foreign countries because the labor was so much less over there. And it's interesting, people don't like immigrants, but yet they count on them to manufacture their products, goods, and services and ship them over here for us to buy, for the rich to continue making more profit off of the same things. And the president talked about that last night. Big pharma, the pharmaceutical industry, making, especially the ones that he talked about was insulin. They're making tons of money off of insulin sales to people that are on Medicare and on Medicaid, and the government eats the cost of those things. And they're making tons and tons of money, but they don't want to pay taxes. And that's what's been happening. And that's what the Republicans have focused their attention on, trying to keep the rich getting rich and the poor staying poor, or the poor staying in pain. That's what I like to call it. They're in pain because finding food for your family is hard when you don't make enough money. You talk about the job market has gone up because people have to work 2 and 3 jobs family now. So they're holding down 2 and 3 jobs just to buy a gallon of milk and a dozen of eggs. It was so funny. I was talking to somebody on last week and I was saying, I buy these jumbo eggs. And it used to be a time when you can crack open a jumbo egg and you would have a special treat on the case. You'd have 2 yolks. I don't know what they told them eggs now, told them chickens now, because you only get 1 yolk per egg, and that's it. You ain't getting 2 yolks no more. So even the chickens are being stingy with the yolks. Okay. But yet the price of eggs have gone up so much. The economy has skyrocketed. And I don't think that we can blame any governmental entity on the price gouging that's going on. Governmental entities are not responsible for setting the prices of gas, eggs, bread, and milk. They're not the ones. They're not the ones that set the price. Now, the government can set a limit on mandatory wages, which I don't know who thought of, this wage thing, that $15 an hour was going to be enough money for a person to live off of. And it's not. Not in today, not in today's time. Everything costs so much. Prices are coming down a little bit to make things a little bit more comfortable, but the wages are not going up. So the working poor are struggling and suffering even the more. It's unfortunate that Republicans feel like people that they're supposed to represent, the working class, they're not concerned of what their needs are. I have children in their 30s and they're working and they can't afford insurance. They can't afford too many trips to the gas station because they're struggling in between paychecks. And I feel sorry for them because I look at them and I'm like, man, it's rough. It's rough. It's rough out here. And it's not getting any better. And I know that the government would like to make our lives a little bit easier. They would like to, you know, offer up services for us that would make life a little bit easier, but they've taken out all the services. They're talking about the Republicans would like to trim the fat in the budget. There is no fat in the budget. There is no extra anything in the budget that we can get. It just doesn't exist. When we look at how the Republicans and the Democrats are partying in DC and all across the country, and they don't care whether I eat or not. Even my local government doesn't care if I eat or not. It used to be communities where my neighbors would come check on me and knock on the door and say, "Hey, you all right? I bought you a fruit cake over here for you, because we don't know how you doing over here. We seen cat food cans in your garbage. We want to make sure you eating human food and not, cat food." That would be a care. That would be love for your neighbors. But we don't have that anymore. People are struggling and they're hurting, and even food pantries don't even have the ability to service all the people in their communities like once upon a time. We sit back and we talk about back in the day, when everybody ate. It was a big thing on Sunday to have Sunday meal. Everybody ate and everybody took leftovers, but we don't have that anymore. So people are starving out here. People are hurting out here. I look at how the Republicans disrespected the president on last night. They had quite a few people that stood up and maybe not stood up, but spoke up and shouted out in disrespect towards the office of the president. And they thought it was okay. And McCarthy, he was sending out messages all day yesterday talking about just be professional, just respect the office of the president. You ain't got to agree with what he's saying, and don't be shouting out. Now, all over the news media today, we got pictures of some of the idiots that are on the Republicans that do not respect the office of the president. They do not respect that office. And it's a terrible situation because we're one government under one God. Okay? One government under one God. No matter what your religious preference may be, there's only one government under one God. We are a democratic republic. So therefore, the commander in chief of this republic should be treated with the respect of his office. I listened to the Republican rebuttal on last night. Every time they have a State of the Nation, whatever you want to call it, the State of the Union address, there's always the opposing party will come forward and try to counteract what they heard. And Sarah Huckabee, the governor of Arkansas, she came out by saying that everything that the president said was a lie, just straight out the gate. And then she went on to say of all the things that she's able to do in her state of Arkansas. I can't live in Arkansas. She banned critical race theory. She banned immigrants. She did everything in her power to turn the state of Arkansas back 100 years. Absolutely. 100 years back into time. Well, first of all, you can't erase the history of this country. Europeans came to this country and they made extinct all the indigenous people that they could wipe out, called them savages. They brought people from other places and made them slaves to work in servitude. How can you erase this from history? Because this was history. And to deny that it happened is not anybody's business as far as like, oh, it's a lie, it never took place. It happened. There are people that are still alive that survived through some of these types of historical events. And if anybody don't know, you need to go do some fact checking and see for yourself all that the Europeans that came to this country did to the people of this country and to people that they brought to this country from the continent of Africa. Check it out. And then teach your children the truth. You know, they will not let you ever forget about what the Germans did to the Jews in Europe. They won't let you forget it. They celebrate it every chance they get. So we, as Black people, people of color, are supposed to forget about what happened to us because it makes them uncomfortable. So as a Republican, you should feel the shame and the weight of your ancestors. You should feel it because maybe you'll do something different. Speaking about the address on last night, they acknowledged some of the people that were in the audience. Nancy Pelosi's husband was there, and he's recovering from an attack from a lunatic that was motivated by hatred. They went after him with a hammer, and he survived. Thank God. He's not going to have many life challenges after that. The speech overall, I think, showed that Biden had very good control over his ability to be able to express himself like he wanted to. He looked presidential on last night, giving his speech. And I listened to in great detail how they talked about getting some work done, instead of fighting and bickering and hindering. Now, McCarthy, the leader of the Republican Party in the House, has sworn to never work to help President Biden get anything done, which is the wrong attitude to take because all branches of government should work together to make things better for the people. Will that happen? I doubt it very seriously because they want to keep confusion. They want to keep chaos going on. And I really feel sorry for the people, we the people, because we the people are in a situation where they don't understand that their job is to make us have a better quality of life. People that sent them there, their concerns and their needs should be met. And they are not. They are not even considering we, the people. And where will we be 2 years from now? I have no idea. The battles and all the complaints and all the issues will continue to mount up continuously over time. You know, as a high note, I found one high note. Um, you know, George Santos was there in the chamber when the union was going forth, the State of the Union was going forth, and Mick Romney, a senior member of the Republican Party, had some strong words of disgust about Santos. And I found that to be a very high note. He was there trying to meet the president, shake people's hand, and act like he had a right to be part of the Republican Party. Uh, and Mick said, "You shouldn't even be here. Go sit in the back of the room somewhere. You're under ethics investigation. You lied so much, which for a Republican to lie so much, shouldn't be a crime, but it's a crime the way he lied." And I thought that to be a high note of what took place on the um, the assembly of all the Republicans yesterday. Some Republicans can't get with George Santos and the foolishness that he accomplished by getting elected by lying the way that he lied, and coming out like, "Oh man, I'm all of this and I'm all of that, and I just lied a little bit." There's no such thing as lied a little bit. When you lie, and the people now in your state have been exposed to all of the foolishness. They don't have good representation from New York, Long Island, and now they got to do a do-over. But some of the Republicans have finally said something publicly about what has taken place with this fool. Okay. I think that's the end of my rant and rave for today. I don't think that my fearless leader, the legend himself, Mr. Lee Michaels, is going to make it. Like I told you before, he is out on assignment. I do want to make a special announcement, though. I have now accomplished technically the ability to be able to broadcast all of my lives on my website. So I'm looking at ask-dr-ron.com. Go there. You will see a countdown. And on that countdown, it will allow you to be able to click watch live, and you'll be able to watch all of our lives every time we go live right here on Street News Now, as well as all of the lives that I do for my regular broadcasting and shows right there on the website. That's a great accomplishment. Shout out to my IT person, Mr. Ralph Jenkins at RRJ Web. If you have a web problem or a web situation, he is the man. Go over there and talk to him. Click on the banners that are on my website, and he can help put your situation on 10. Okay. So it looks like my time is running out for today. I just wanted to encourage you all. If you have a show and you would like to bring your show to a network, Street News Now is the network. You can go over to streetnewsnow.com, and there is a form that you can fill out that will allow you to be able to be contacted by somebody in our administration that will help you produce your show. If you are interested in being on this network, you need to fill out the form, and someone will get in contact with you to help you put your show together. We have great many time slots available. If you'd like to come on before me or after me, the noon report, that time is available. So you can click on it and fill out the form. You can get that time slot, and we can help you be on this up and growing network. We've been doing shows on this network for over a couple of years now. And I was talking to Lee off air a couple of days ago, and he is interested in reporters being on the ground covering news events. And then they can put those news events together that they've witnessed and have seen happen and talk about it right here on this network. So he would like to do that, get more and more reporters out there that are definitely interested in talking about what's going on. Okay. Well, we're going to get out of here. We're not going to prolong the time. any much longer than what we have to. So what I would like to do is encourage you guys to please subscribe. I hit the wrong one. There we go. Subscribe, like, and share. Tell someone about the show and allow them to come over and check it out. Or if they haven't come over and check it out, let them go see it. Send it to them. Send the show to them so they can see what's going on. Okay? So that's it for today. We're going to ease on down the road. You all have a safe and prosperous week. Is midweek. So be safe and prosperous. And we look forward to seeing you guys on next Wednesday. Take care. Peace and love.